News channel after news channel after news channel. Ever wonder why they report the same news? This is Wake Up America.
Brought to you by Citizen Stringer.
The media has become absolute lunacy. What makes us different? We just tell the truth. Daily headlines, politics, social issues, focusing on headlines that the mainstream media ignores. Conservative to the core and honest, sometimes to a fault. Unapologetically American. Welcome to Wake Up America with your host, Stephen Oatley.
All right. How you guys doing? This is the first Wake Up America episode I've done in a couple of weeks because we had the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. We had everything going on. So I'm a little rusty. I actually have some notes. Some notes today. For anyone that doesn't know, my name is Steve Oatley. I'm the host of Wake Up America. And tonight we're going to dive into the terror attack. And we'll explain why we're calling it a terror attack in Wisconsin that occurred last night, killing 5 people, injuring over 40, including 18, as many as 18 children. It seems like it could be more than that because that was just one hospital that received 18 children. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. We'll talk about the mainstream media's coverage, and not even the mainstream media. We'll actually talk about trying to think of the right word to say to describe them. I don't know. Let's just call them the far left fringe elements that are trying to fearmonger and essentially scare everybody into submission. We'll talk about a lot. If you guys didn't know, the show is sponsored by Spartan Armor Systems. You can visit SpartanArmorSystems.com and use code YEET and get 10% off your order. Spartan Armor Systems is an Arizona-based body armor manufacturer, huge supporters of this show, and we really thank them for always supporting this show and supporting what we do. We're going to have a pretty cool commercial that we're going to have in the next 2 or 3, next week or two, we'll have a commercial that will come out that'll show some of our own employees wearing the Spartan Armor stuff while they were down at the border. They also sponsored that trip, so we should have that border film finished in the next week or two. Well, I'll say 3 or 4 weeks for that. It takes a long time to do it. But we'll have that. But yeah, make sure you check out SpartanArmorSystems.com and use code YEET, and it gets you 10% off your order. The guys over there are amazing, and I really value their support here on the show. With that said, let's get into obviously, we got to first talk about this terror attack that took place in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I said it correctly. See that? I'm learning. Waukesha, Wisconsin, yesterday, right around 4:39 p.m. And what we've learned now, we've learned some new evidence, some new things today. A Ford Escape operated by Daryl Edward Brooks, a 39-year-old African-American male with dreadlocks, and the reason I'm saying that is because that's what the witnesses reported. He apparently blew through a police blockade, smashing in a police car, and then running through. So this little town of Waukesha, Wisconsin, does a Christmas parade. So every year they have all the schools out there, they have dancing grannies, they have all sorts of stuff going on, marching bands, all that stuff. So they typically close down this one street in Wisconsin, and that's where they do this parade. Apparently, Brooks We don't know why. I mean, ultimately, we can only kind of guess and make an educated guess based on the facts that are available or were available. You'll understand why they're not available anymore in a minute. But we can only say that this was a terror-related incident based on those facts. And a lot of mainstream media is already they're pretending it's not. They are taking the Waukesha chief of police, Dan Thompson's word that it's not, rather than looking at facts, which is not something we do here at Citizen Stringer News. We actually look at facts and then make the determination from there. We don't base it on one political candidate or, a chief of police is a politician. Let's get honest with that. Anyway, Daryl Edward Brooks ended up driving through a police blockade, smashing into the cruiser. According to Chief Thompson today, this came out today, and we've all seen the video. You saw the video where he goes through a blockade and it appears a police officer is shooting at him as he goes. I thought that was at the end. Yesterday, all the times that we showed it, I thought that was at the end of this after he ran over everybody, but I didn't pay attention to the front of the vehicle. The front of the vehicle was not all smashed up. So, and we know that by the end of this, it was all smashed up. So what ended up happening is Brooks drove through, smashing through a police car. Police officer was there. He actually attempted to use lethal force to stop Brooks before he hit anybody. Brooks did not stop. He ended up continuing to drive. There's video. It shows him picking out his targets before he ran them over, avoiding some people, driving deliberately into other people. It cannot be argued. He picked his targets. You see that from the video. It's very, very clear. He doesn't take any of the side streets off. Like there was earlier allegations are that he was being chased or the police were chasing him, which Chief Thompson said today that's not true. And even if anyone else was, or that he had nowhere to go and he was trapped and he was getting chased and that's why he did it. But before he encountered the police barricade where the shutdown, there was actually it was a 4-lane intersection with only 1 lane blocked. So he could have made a left, he could have made a right. Instead, he drove through the police barricade, nearly striking the police officer from what I understand. And the police officer fired shots to engage the suspect, or he did engage the suspect, and it didn't do anything. They couldn't stop him before he ran over 45 people. And it's tragic, 45 people were injured, as many as at least 45 people were injured. Of those 45, 5 people died. They were all elderly, and which is important. They were all older than me, which is important for about some of the facts that I'm going to tell you here in a minute. There were 4 females that were killed and 1 male between the ages of 52 and 81. The 81-year-old was a male. The rest of them that were women. 18 juveniles were injured between, I believe, the ages of 9 and 16. 6 of those juveniles are in the ICU, with 3 of them in serious condition. I believe 2 are in fair, and 1 is either moved out or not moved out of the ICU yet. There's also 16 other, as of the press conference at 11 o'clock this morning by the Children's Hospital, there are 16 juveniles of those 18 that originally presented themselves to that children's hospital. 16 are still in the hospital. 2 were treated and released. The 16 that were in the hospital are in various units suffering a variety of injuries. I don't believe they really went into specifics about the injuries, and to be honest, I wasn't really listening. Just based on those numbers, it's estimated that there could be up to 20 adults, and those are only children that were treated at that hospital, the 18. We don't know how many children were treated at some of the other hospitals because they're not reporting it yet. Also, if you do live in that area, go give blood if you can, because they need blood desperately, according to the hospital earlier today when they had their press briefing. Now, there's a lot of speculation going on. At 2 o'clock, the police chief gave a press statement, and he said there's no evidence, this is a quote, no evidence that this is a terror incident, which is completely and utterly false based on the very brief information that we were able to find online. It does, in fact, appear that this was a targeted attack on the city's specifically elderly population and white population, whether or not they want to admit it. June 9th, 2020, Daryl Edward Brooks posted on his social media account. Math by Fly was his social media account. He posted, and I switched it I did convert what he posted into English because it was in like Ebonics or something. So it's pretty difficult to say and read without losing brain cells. So I did switch it to the best I could. He wrote, learned and taught behavior. So when we start back knocking white people the F out, I don't want to hear it. The old white people too. It's very odd because that's a very, very specific threat, right? That he wants to assault white people, and he specifically mentions old white people. Of all the people that were injured, of the 45 people that were impacted by this, 5 people died. All of them were over the age of 52 or older. This is a targeted attack. Whether or not mainstream media wants to report it as such, it doesn't matter. As long as you guys know, this was a terror attack. He's got social media posts all over social media. He did, from what we understand, he has no connections to BLM. All right, let me say it again. This guy, Daryl Edward Brooks, has no connections to BLM. However, he does look like he's an extremist based on some of his social media posts. He's got some stuff that kind of falls into the Black Hebrew, genre, and I'm all too familiar with them, with the death threats that I've had from that group in the past. He's got a lot of, he's got anti-Trump posts. Apparently he was a wannabe SoundCloud rapper and he had a song F Trump or something, which isn't really surprising. Not if you don't like Trump. I mean, I know conservatives that don't like Trump. They just didn't like him. But he's got a lot of racist stuff. I mean, this quote from June 9th, 2020 is the most damning piece of evidence that I could find, because he specifically said that to assault old elderly white people specifically. There's no other, that's the most damning piece of evidence, especially when you know that he was turning and avoiding some people and trying to hit other people. I haven't looked at, to be honest, I haven't watched a single one of these videos today. I can't do it again. I had so many nightmares and shit last night that I'm not going to put myself through that again. So I didn't do a quick analogy. There's one video where it actually shows him swerving around people. There's some speculation that maybe the people he's swerving around were, whatever. I know one of the videos he swerved around a child, so I got to just say, wow, that's amazing, considering that he ran over several other children. But I think it's very important for people to understand that this was a terror attack. Anybody who says otherwise is spreading a false narrative. And there is as of what we see now, there were no comments about Rittenhouse on any of his posts that I saw, at least. I'm not saying there weren't, but on any of his social media accounts before Big Tech actually pulled all his social media accounts. His YouTube, his Twitter, and his Facebook have since been deleted. Granted, pretty much everyone's already captured every single tweet and image on it. Thank you. Let me mute this, though, so that music doesn't show while I'm doing this. But regardless of how you feel about everything, you have to be pragmatic. Even if you take a really generalist approach to it and say, okay, well, maybe he wasn't targeting white people or whatever. A man who drives his car through a police barricade while police are shooting at him and then proceeds to target and run down 45 people, that's a terror incident. I don't care whether the CNN or MSNBC or even Fox News or this police chief, Dan Thompson, or the mayor or anybody. I don't care if they say, well, it's not to us. It's not a terror incident unless it's linked to ISIS or anything like that. No. To me, when you go and deliberately terrorize a Christmas event, you're a terrorist. That's what you're doing. Or when you spread this false propaganda, and I know I've used that term loosely. I called someone earlier today, that Vaughn guy, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. I called him a terrorist. Yeah, because I think if you're instilling fear, and even one person goes out and acts on that fear based on what you're saying, guess what? You are responsible for those actions. And I think what some of the rhetoric that we've been hearing in the past 4 or 5 days is dangerous. That's the easiest way to just say it. It is outright dangerous, and it's going to get people killed. And that's my biggest frustration with just how lax some people are of their reporting of this. This incident needs to be reported for what it is. You guys know from watching my show, I'm extremely hard on mainstream media because, well, I believe that they should be held to account for their bad reporting. Not everybody feels the same way. A lot of people want to dispute what I say, or, specifically what I was saying last night, or even some of the stuff that I was saying today, and dispute it and act like it's not real. Well, the media hasn't come out and said it's a terrorist attack. Well, I am media. I own a media company. We are credentialed news journalists, and I say it's a terrorist attack because we don't report fake facts. I'm not worried about making you scared. I care about reporting the truth. And this was a horrible terror attack that luckily it could have been so much worse. I mean, 5 people dying, 40 people injured is a massive, especially when you think about some of the other terror attacks that have happened in this country. I mean, that's a pretty deadly terror attack. It is. What happened last night in Waukesha, it's hard for me to say that. It's frightening when you really think about it. But even with that said, when you look back and you kind of just take a step back and you look at everything from the Rittenhouse trial on Friday to this guy and how was he even released, late last week when he had 2 felonies and 3 misdemeanor charges. He was released with $1,000 cash bond, and he was on conditions for other felonies that it doesn't make any sense. And the prosecutor's office says it was an error. And by the way, he's a non-compliant tier 2 sex offender for raping a minor. How are people like that on the street? And how can politicians actually, even after all this, and even after that there was, a major F up, a major F up in terms of letting this guy out. The local DA there came out and said, "Oh, sorry, it was an accident. We're going to investigate it. We're going to get to the bottom of it. There's no reason he should have had a bail that low, considering the charges he was facing." Well, your accident just killed 5 people and injured 40 others, including probably ruined the lives of young kids who are going to be afraid of cars driving through parades for the rest of their life. Today, they held a prayer vigil. The town of Waukesha did a good job. They actually blocked everything down with dump trucks, with snowplows on them, so nobody can get through. Nobody. And is that the new normal in America? It seems it has been for a while. Even my little town does it. My little town had, I don't know what it was, a farmer's market or something a couple of months back, and they actually blocked the streets with these big garbage truck, dump truck things as well. And we live in a small town. I think the population's like 5,000. But you have to, because you don't know just how crazy people are. And it's not a black thing or a white thing. That's a terror thing. People become radicalized. That's the real thing. I kind of lost my temper earlier, but that's the real thing that people have to pay attention to, is the rhetoric. Is that's what's dangerous here. Not just because it's radicalizing people that do this kind of thing. And we don't know if the rhetoric has anything to do with it, or the guy just decided to go and kill people. I mean, it was a cognitive decision he made, though. We all watched it. It was a cognitive decision for him to go and run down these people. We watched him turn to the left, turn to the right, and avoid people. I saw it. You saw it. Everyone that watched it with me last night, we all saw it together. But for some reason, they're just not calling it that. They're not calling it a terrorist attack or even racially motivated. We don't know. We don't know. They're not talking about the statements. The press releases that are coming out of Waukesha tonight are pretty bad because they're not really providing any information. But it brings us to a bigger issue. It brings us to a bigger problem. The major issue that we have here is that the propaganda and the bull crap, dude. The crazy stuff that is happening in this country, and the fact that everybody gets away with it. CNN, MSNBC, this the radicalized moron Vaughn, the Malcolm X of Milwaukee or whatever he wants to call himself. I mean, they're getting away with fear. It's not even fear mongering. It's starting divisiveness. And there's nothing else, you know. When you walk up to a protest, man, I'm hearing a lot of sirens. They're all police too, man. That's why I'm hearing it, because they're all right here. But I've been hearing a lot of sirens. Thank you, Gary, for that. It's just crazy stuff. The whole thing is just really crazy stuff. Whether or not you pay attention to the mainstream media and the kind of narrative they do, I mean, that's kind of my job. That's what we do. That's why I started this company, because I got so tired of listening to how people report things. I got so tired of listening to the left and the right media. Like, granted, I'm on the right. I'm a conservative, but no matter what we hear, I don't even know if Fox News is reporting that this is a terror attack. This was a terror attack. You can't dispute it. The guy literally had just over a year ago, 15 months ago, he had a post where he said he was going to target white people and specifically elderly people, and that's exactly what he did. But for some reason, everyone's like, well, you know, the Chief Dan Thompson said it's not, so that's it. Said he's 100% confident he acted alone. It's kind of weird because you have eyewitnesses that say there were multiple people in the car. It's just very odd, the whole thing. And how did we get here? Because I know a lot of people are this fracture that's occurring in our country right now is planned. The narrative that the left is spinning and the way that the right is reacting to that narrative is planned. It's all coordinated. Sorry, I'm still hearing sirens. I don't know what the hell is going on. But like I said, small towns, the first thing I think about when I hear sirens is my house. But my wife would call me if there's anything, or I'll just look at the cameras. But it's just a weird day, you know, and it makes you think. Like last night, I had a lot of emotion when I was covering this because the children were involved. I watched the videos of children coming just feet away from perishing and dying. And it makes you think. And I have some time to sit back today, and I'm thinking about just how we got here as a country. You know, how we got to this strange place where it's acceptable to go on courthouse steps and say you're going to arm 17-year-old children, or it's acceptable and you could say that you were joking about claiming that this was the start of a revolution and that you were joking, and everyone should know that. That's that Vaughn radicalized idiot terrorist. Oh, you're joking. You know who else was joking? Apparently, an Illinois Democrat social media, who is this? Illinois Dem resigns after calling Waukesha massacre karma. And this is a white lady, mind you. A Democrat Party official in Illinois, the second most populous county, sent out a series of tweets, including one that said the blood of Kyle Rittenhouse's victims is on the hands of Wisconsin citizens, even the children. Shortly after the vehicle crash, crowds of people at a Christmas parade in Wisconsin. Now, we tend not to say names or anything like that. Mary Lemansky is this lady's name. She since resigned as a social media coordinator for the local Democrat Party of DuPage County, Illinois. The tweet, which was posted just after midnight on Monday and then deleted, she resigned. The tweet followed on the heels of several other posts by Lemansky that mocked the Sunday carnage in Waukesha, Wisconsin, saying it was probably just self-defense. Lemansky stated in a deleted tweet with the hashtags Wisconsin and hashtag Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm sad if anyone dies, she said. I just believe in karma, and this came around quick on the citizens of Wisconsin, she tweeted. She also then tweeted, you reap what you sow, Wisconsin. She deleted all of her tweets and then, went on social media to complain about the attention that she got, saying nobody cared about me my whole life. My mom used to leave me in for hours at a time alone in my playpen. I've put out music for 20 years. Nobody gave a shit. Why do people all of a sudden care about a stupid remark? Care about a stupid remark. I can't believe my 15 minutes of fame is for this shit, she wrote earlier today. No, she's not the only one. She has since resigned and posted that publicly on her Twitter page, which everyone you can follow her and tell her how much you like her at Mary Lemansky on Twitter. She's not the only one, though. She's not the only one that has done this. We just posted a screenshot less than an hour ago of another one. She's the communications director for the Chesterfield Dems. That's here in Virginia, a Democrat, the Chesterfield Democratic Party there. She's this lady named Peggy Taylor, and her Twitter handle is PegInVA. She tweeted out, after someone wrote a verified account, I don't even know who it is, a verified account, Miranda Devine, wrote, why did Darnell Brooks drive from his home in Milwaukee 30 minutes west to Waukesha to kill 4 women and a man and injure 48, including 2 children who are now in critical condition? And the comms manager for a Democrat party, and again, this Democrat party is the Chesterfield County Democrat Committee. The comms manager for this group, Peggy Taylor, wrote, well, he was worried about the businesses in Waukesha and wanted to defend them from Christmas rioters. You want to understand why I have the reaction I do to people like this? Is because that right there is enough to just flip someone's switch. That is a dangerous, let alone insensitive comment. And just so everyone is aware, and I think everyone should visit chesterfielddems.org and visit their contact page and send a letter or tweet at them, because we tweeted them over an hour ago. A lot of other people have tweeted it, and apparently Chesterfield Dems just feel like if they don't reply, then it doesn't matter. So far, we don't have any notice that Peggy Taylor has resigned from her position. In fact, I don't even think resigning is even enough. In fact, I think that kind of thing should land someone in jail for a night. That's my personal belief. And I know a lot of people, especially some of the constitutional Republicans here, may be like, well, Steve, that's freedom of speech. No, I don't care. This involves children. I draw a very hard line when it involves children. You want to mock kids that have had their lives taken from them? People lost their grandparents. They lost, these people were probably part of the dancing grannies. I'm tired, so I'm speaking backwards today. I don't. Jail is the nicest thing that I could say that should happen to this person. And I know you guys are saying, well, Steve, this is a little bit different because you're also talking now and giving the information of all these people who do the stupid things and telling us where we could find them. You used to not do that. And I decided that we have to. Because not only are we a news organization, but we are a trusted news organization where many, many people choose to watch this show every day. They choose to watch our network. They don't read. They read our news site on citizenstringer.com, and they get their news from us. So how would it not be honest for me if I didn't pull out and instead of me writing an article and just being like, okay, this is where you could find this, I'm just saying it on the air. And I think everybody should go visit the website, and I think everybody should be upset that people are doing this. It's not a Democrat-Republican thing. I'd be doing the same thing if this was the congressional Republicans or congressional GOP. I would be doing the same damn thing. It's the same, yelling that I did earlier today when I was seeing stupid comments in my chat. We have to be better. But how do we stop this? How do we stop this craziness, the bias, talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, and people are like, the judge, white supremacy, Kyle Rittenhouse, white supremacy, the jury, white supremacy. That's white supremacy in action. There's no evidence of any of that. The fact is that a jury of his peers, whether you like it or not, including a minority or a black person that was on that jury, they decided that he was not guilty. That's it. They also decided that a black kid in Southern Florida was not guilty for shooting at police and accidentally killing his girlfriend. They also ruled he was not guilty because he chose a self-defense argument. Nobody wants to really talk about that. They glance over that. I'd be very surprised if CNN even has an article on that fella. But I guarantee almost everyone else does. Almost every other news outlet, but CNN and MSNBC, they're not going to do it. I do this every now and then, and it really ticks me off that I even have to do it. But let's just go over to MSNBC's website right now and just see what some of the titles are. And they may have mellowed out now. No, here's one. Yeah. I mean, here's an article right on their front page. Kyle Rittenhouse trial was designed to protect white conservatives who kill. Now, this was published 2 days ago, but it's still on their front page. And then it literally, and I've talked about this. I talked about it the other day. It says, Kyle Rittenhouse, who fatally shot 2 protesters and wounded a third during an anti-police brutality demonstrations in Wisconsin last year, has been found now guilty of homicide, an outrageous yet unsurprising verdict in a trial marred by controversy. There was no controversy, and it wasn't outrageous. Because, in fact, many people knew it was going to happen when you actually watch all the evidence. And let's get some facts straight here. That was not an anti-police brutality demonstration. That was a riot in Kenosha on August 25th, 2020. It was not a anti-police demonstrating. They are demonstration. They weren't walking up and down, a public park, leaving sidewalks and roadways open. No, what they were instead doing is people were shooting in the air, burning down buildings, assaulting random people, and threatening to kill anyone. Where short little white dudes that were convicted sex offenders walked around yelling the N-word. That's what that was. Tell me how that is an anti-police brutality demonstration. You can't. I understand that. Plus, MSNBC doesn't watch this. Now, it said Rittenhouse, who was white, was 17 when he traveled from his hometown in northeast Illinois to the protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year, armed with a semi-automatic rifle. Even that statement is incorrect. He didn't travel from Illinois to Wisconsin armed with a semi-automatic rifle. In fact, the rifle was already in Kenosha at someone else's house named Dominic, the person who owned the gun. It wasn't Kyle. The whole misconception about it, it's just crazy. And he also didn't travel down to go protect places in Florida, in Kenosha. He went down to clean up graffiti on a building, and he ended up staying there. They said on the night of August 25th, he carried his gun through the streets. Rittenhouse shot dead Joseph Rosenbaum. Again, for anyone that doesn't know, Joseph Rosenbaum was convicted 5 times of molesting children under the age of 9. 5 times. 5 different children. Is it a justification for his shooting? I'm not going to answer that question because I have an unpopular viewpoint on that. I absolutely, yeah. He shouldn't have been walking around. That would have been a simple solution for Rosenbaum. And you know how Rosenbaum got killed at the protest? If he wasn't allowed to walk around. If when he raped a kid, he was ended. That's all I would have to say about that, because then this whole thing wouldn't have happened. Anthony Huber attacked Kyle Rittenhouse with a skateboard on film, on video. You can't dispute it. It happened. And then Gage Grossowitz, a fake paramedic and convicted felon who was illegally possessing a gun, pointed a pistol, .40 caliber Smith & Wesson, at Kyle Rittenhouse's head. Kyle shot him. He had no choice. But yet, it's white supremacy. Rittenhouse was guilty or found not guilty on all 5 charges he faced, which included first-degree intentional homicide. And it just, this article is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. The way, just this article alone, let's go over to CNN and just see, because there's so many. Seriously, GOP congressman. I mean, they're on the air. How is that's the thing I don't understand? Aren't there FCC guidelines that these people have to pay attention to? Like, how can you just lie like that? This isn't even satire. This is just horrible shit. Like they're writing now. GOP congressman urges supporters to be armed and dangerous. When many of us hear the word armed and dangerous, we think of criminal activity. Police officers are also be told to be on the lookout, blah, blah, blah. What's far less common are instances in which elected officials suggest being armed and dangerous is a good thing. The Charlotte Observer reported following a not guilty verdict in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse on Friday, Representative Madison Cawthorn offered the 18-year-old an internship and told people on Instagram to be armed, be dangerous, and be moral. On Instagram, Cawthorn said in a video, Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty, my friends. You have a right to defend yourselves, be armed, be dangerous, and be moral. To be sure, Cawthorn was not the only GOP in the South, and then it just goes on. It's all about politics. It's not about America anymore, being American. It's really not, and it's so frustrating to me. You know, the more I read it, the more I just get this general disgust, an overwhelming feeling of disgust when I read some of this stuff. President Biden can only speak a few minutes and doesn't talk about this at all. Donald Trump even commented on this before President Biden spoke on it today. I mean, this was a terror attack. There's no other way. You can't dispute it. It was a terror attack, and they're just not. They just don't care. They don't care. And maybe, just maybe, people will wake up and, it seems like people are playing pretty hardball. They're calling out these people on social media. They're calling out these radical ideologies, but then you have people like the moron that I was talking about earlier. The guy, what was his name? Vaughn something. Hold on, let me find it. I'm trying to just get his name. And full disclosure, he actually commented on a video earlier and said, I challenge you to, have a good 10-minute discussion about this. So I invited him on the show. And I've told him I'll have him on tomorrow to send me an email. And he won't. His name is Von Mays. But I don't have the video queued up so you could do it. But this is what he said on the steps of Kenosha. Now, keep in mind, this guy was talking about how 17-year-olds travel into other towns to protect it. He is from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he drove down to Kenosha, which kind of pot calling the kettle black there. But this is his statement.
Y'all, listen, y'all better wake the fuck up. Y'all think y'all had a win today, but it ain't gonna be how y'all think it is. And we ain't gotta burn shit up, we ain't gotta tear shit down. But I'm telling y'all, think that y'all can come rule over black people, that y'all can come police black people, and you don't have a fucking badge on, you gonna fuck around and find out. We ain't taking that shit from no fucking body. We ain't taking that shit from no motherfucking body.
You can think that you want to be a mini police officer if you want to. That's all I'm saying to you.
Otherwise, we'll arm all the 17-year-old black kids from Milwaukee and send them to your community.
So that's one comment that he made. But the thing that really caught me was a comment that he made last night. Now, mind you, he has made a video today. He did make a long ranting video where he was trying to, I don't know, apologize for this. He didn't apologize. He just told everyone to be wary of white people. It was the most, and I put the link in the chat, and a lot of you guys have watched it, and a lot of people sent it to me. And if any of you guys want, you can go look him up, Ron L. something, or whatever his name is. I don't even know. Just an irrelevant person. But this is dangerous conversation. And Von Mays is his name. I think it's Von L. Mays or something like that. But you can find him on social media, and you can watch a video that he made today where he's trying to explain how that he was joking when he said this after knowing children were injured last night from the scene.
I don't know. Now we'll have to wait and see, because they do have somebody in custody. We may have to wait and see what they say about why this happened. But it sounds like possible that the revolution has started in Wisconsin, starting with this Christmas parade. Now I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm missing, but I said I wasn't gonna speak on the rumors. Y'all are repeating some of the stuff that has come up, and I did tell you that the initial person who reached out to me said that they believe that this has to do with the verdict. And so I made an assumption.
And he makes a video today saying how he's just joking. He's just joking. He didn't mean it. He's just joking. It's insane. It's insane. But like I said, I'll have him on my show. I'd rather do it in person, because my guess is that he's a short little, raunchy scumbag of a person. And I would just love for a person, especially right now, to get really amped up. But I don't know. It's very annoying. Scootercaster in New York, or actually it's down in Georgia. So a group from the new Black Panthers, and it's kind of funny because there's also another trial going on, a self-defense trial that I know nothing about the legality. I haven't watched the damn video. I haven't watched anything with this case. We covered the closing arguments today on Citizen Stringer and on social media, I believe. But I'm not following the case. So I'm not even going to speak on the verdict or anything. But one of the things that's kind of interesting is there was a lot of the defense asked for a mistrial based on the fact that all these massively loud protests were taking place outside. All of the black pastors, they had an event on Wednesday called, 1,000 Black Pastors, where over 1,000 pastors from across the country all went down there and held a rally on the courthouse front steps. Today, this group called the New Black Panthers marched alongside the Gwinn County Courthouse, armed to the teeth. Yeah, I mean, this is nutty. If that's not jury intimidation, I don't know what could possibly be, what couldn't be considered jury intimidation. Having a group of men walking up and down the streets in fatigues with guns, chanting things that you don't want to hear. It's incredibly frustrating to me. It's incredibly frustrating that everybody seems to just look back. And again, just for any of the lefties that may be in the chat and do not understand, I have the same response when white dudes dress up like this and walk down the streets with guns. Even though I'm a pro 2A guy, I personally hate open carry. I lived in open carry, constitutional carry states. I still had a concealed carry weapon, and I carry a gun everywhere I go. I hate open carry. I don't think there's any purpose in it other than to look cool. I don't think it's meant to do anything else. If you're hunting, obviously, that's a different story. But all these people, like in Florida, they used to challenge that by strapping an AR-15 while they go fishing. There's no point for it, and I never understood it. But it's your choice. I think it's dumb. I think it's dangerous, and I think it's a fear-mongering tool. Whoever wears it. And that's the thing that's frustrating to me. Yeah, I'll call you after. Oh, by the way, Spartan Armor Systems, I just got a text message right now. Spartan Armor Systems is doing a 25% off Black Friday sale. No coupon is required, so that's why the yeet code is not working. I did get an email yesterday that someone said the yeet code was not working. But we've heard now, or I just got a message from the folks over at Spartan Armor. Right now, today, through Friday, through the 28th, so 5 days from now, they are doing a site-wide Black... I'm going to go over there. I need some more shirts. You sent me 2 of the same colored shirts, so whenever I wear them, people always complain, and they're like, you're wearing the same shirt every day. So I may go and order some shirts today, because I like the shirts a lot. But yeah, go over to SpartanArmorSystems.com and you don't need a code. You're getting 25% off. Let me tell you how big that is. You buy a $500 set of tactical plates, like the plate carrier I have. I think it's a level 3 plus or level 4. I don't remember what it is. But that set, wherever the hell, I'm pointing over there like you guys could see it. You can't. But that set was, I think, normally retailed for $5.99 or $4.99. 25% off that is, it's a good deal, right? $125 off. So you guys get that. And to be honest, you need it nowadays. You need it. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're at home, if you're at a shopping center, if you're mowing your lawn, if you're dropping your kids off at school, if you're going grocery shopping, if you're at the movies, if you're walking through a park, you should be wearing bulletproof vests now, because this is, gun crimes are up a lot. We have 600 mass shootings so far this year. It completely dwarfs the amount that we had last year, any year really before that. Gun crime is up, I think, 80%. I'll probably have a report after, maybe at the end of the year, I'll have a report. But we're also building a database system on our website where you'll be able to look and see the mass shootings every week, because nobody reports it either. CNN actually did for a little bit. Got to give credit. CNN did, because we were doing our mass shooting report where we broke down all of the mass shootings and the offenders and how many people were injured and the victims and all that stuff. And actually CNN copied that for 3 or 4 weeks. And it was funny to see, I'd be like, oh, there's 17 mass shootings. CNN would be like, they're 13. Even though we use the same database, they literally cited it there. They just decided to omit some to make it seem like it wasn't as bad. But unfortunately, now we average 17 mass shootings. I think the last time I talked about the mass shootings was I'll call you after if you're all right. Send me a text and let me know. I'm going to be getting off here in just a few minutes, and then I'll call you. Because Tucker Carlson, for everyone, you may be like, Steve, why do you go live so early? I went live early today because Tucker Carlson has the Kyle Rittenhouse interview at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to watch it. And so that's why I decided, and I didn't feel like staying till 9 and then going from 9 to 10. So I decided that I'd start the show early so that way we could watch. There was no Pete Santilli today. He was out for medical reasons. He'll be back tomorrow. I think he's going to be doing a show in the morning. Not quite sure, but he should be doing a show in the morning. So I'll kick it on around 8:05 when I get into the office. I forgot what I was going to look up. Oh, the gun violence. So mass shootings, surprise, surprise, 2 mass shootings yesterday, one in Passaic, New Jersey that injured 5 people, one in Baton Rouge, Louisiana yesterday, injured 4 people, killed 1 person. And then on the 20th, there were 2 mass shootings as well, one in California, one in Illinois. And then on the 18th, there was one in Cambridge, Maryland. So just in the past 3 days, let's say in the past 2 days, you've had 4 mass shootings with 4, 6, 10, 15 people injured and 3 people killed. It's insane. And then if you switch over and you go to the 17th, the 18th, and the 17th, a crap ton. Past 7 days now, we're actually looking good on the numbers. This may be the lowest so far. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 mass shootings in the past 7 days. Pretty good, right? Except they didn't put today's mass shootings in there. So probably not. If there was a single mass shooting anywhere, which would likely happen at night, it's not good. Actually, I think there was. Wasn't there a mass shooting earlier today somewhere where 4 people were shot, 1 person killed? That's America, man. That's America. Someone said, did she make her page private? Yes, it appears that Peg in VA made her tweets private. And I would like to say that's because of me, but probably not. So remember we were talking earlier today about the Democrat communications chair. It says it right on her website. She made all her tweets protected so nobody could see her tweets anymore. But that's why if you guys ever see a tweet that offends you, you screenshot that son of a gun, because then it's never gone and you always have it. Something, journalism 101 there, because people delete it. I mean, or big tech deletes it. How was that? I think that was pretty good. What time is it? I think I'm just going to end. I'm tired of talking. This has been a long couple of days. So I think I'm just going to wrap. I appreciate everyone that sent stars on Facebook. I know we had some stars on Facebook. We had some super chats come in. As a reminder for everybody that's watching, everything that I make this week. Last night the total was 85.55 that I was able to locate. So we made $8,555 yesterday. And I don't know what we made today. So far, nobody sent stars, I guess. And then ads on Facebook are right around $35. And then on YouTube, I saw some super chats. So we're going to keep a running tally, and then we're going to donate that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of the injured children, one of them, and we're going to give it to them as a scholarship. So whatever we raise, we'll just choose one of the injured children, and then we'll pay for their college, or we'll give them a scholarship to be used. I'll figure out a way to do it. I'll probably just meet with a financial advisor, because I want to set up a foundation so we could do this more, and so it works better. But I appreciate all you guys for doing it, because that's the most we've ever raised in one day. $8,555, and that's still a rough number, but $8,000, $8,500, and we had some big donations. I think Damien did $500. I saw that late last night. I saw $1,000 Venmo as well. So it's pretty amazing, and we're going to keep doing it. But yeah, I wanted to just give you guys an update. This show will be available as a podcast as well because I haven't uploaded one in a while. So I wanted to make sure I did it. Anyone else who wants to donate, because you could still do it, you could send super chats, you could do Facebook, or you could visit citizenstringer.com/support. And I'm just doing it. It's for the whole week. And it's everything on my store too. So if you go to Pure Truth Clothing and you buy a shirt, well, just be selective because I've been working all day on the store stuff. Buy coffee. That's your best bet. Just don't get the Trumpkin blend because that's pretty much done, the Halloween blend. But buy any of the other coffee we have in stock. All of the profits for everything in our store is also going. We're adding in because really my goal, I would like to see 20 grand, a very ambitious goal. I would like to be able to cut someone a check for 20 grand and say, I'm sorry on behalf of America. That's what I would like to do. We are at 85.55. I hear some stars coming in. So, that was pretty good. Andrea gave that $1,000 donation last night. That's right. And, so yeah, we're going to just keep doing it, and go from there. Let me see. I did hear some stars. $21 in stars, so we add $50 out. We're at like $8,600, so that's awesome. And you guys can keep sending stars. Like if you watch, here's a funny thing: if you watch on Facebook, you could send stars as the show goes. It's pretty rad. All right, with that said, I'm gonna wrap this for the day. Tucker Carlson comes on in approximately 18 minutes, so we'll be there. I'm not sure what my schedule is looking like today. If my son is feeling better, then my wife is going to work, which means I'll probably end up working from home. But we'll cover press conferences. I may have to do like an impromptu thing from my kitchen table or something to go live because the news doesn't stop just because I have to be a dad, because it's Thanksgiving break. But for some reason, my kids are off, but my wife isn't as a teacher in a different district. It's really stupid. Anyway, I thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. All right.
Apologetically honest. Join us each night at 8 p.m. for more daily headlines, politics, and social issues, covering the headlines that mainstream media ignores. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review the show. See more on the website at citizenstringer.com. And we'll see you tomorrow on Wake Up America.